have a confession to make, and that is I don't like romance novels. I feel like I am very alone in that camp. Maybe I'm just not reading the right ones. I have got 5 of the most popular romance novels out from my library, and I'm going to give these a try. I'm going to see if maybe they can convert me to being a romance girly. I will say though, something that probably doesn't help the situation is I am not straight. I identify as a lesbian, but I'm going to be reading 5 straight romance novels. Will they convert me not to being straight? I definitely do not think they're going to convert me to that. Can confirm I am married. I have a wife and children, but let's just give them a try. Currently bedtime. If you hear anyone fussing, they're getting ready for bed, and I hate that time of day. I am going to be reading Love on the Brain, which is a brainy science romance, I believe. I actually have a degree in neuroscience, so I'm really excited for this. It has 4 stars basically on Goodreads, 3.92 stars out of 465,000 ratings. So people like this. I'm excited. This author's written a couple of science romances. Her most popular one, I think, is The Love Hypothesis. I got this out of the library and it's due back tomorrow, so we don't have a choice but to read it in one day. $15% in, and I like it. I have not been stumped by any of the science. Thank you. All of the money I spent on my neuroscience degree I don't use. But it's good. It's enjoyable. It is making me laugh. This might be the kind of romance that I can get behind. Maybe I just needed to read nerdy science romances. I lost a memory card, which means I need to reshare my thoughts on Love on the Brain. So Love on the Brain is a STEM romance. It's science, which is pretty cool. I have a degree in neuroscience, so I thought it was really cool that she was a neuroscientist, he was an engineer, they're working at NASA. They are academic rivals because they were in the same kind of programs in university, in their master's, I think, or their PhD, and everyone knew that he hated her, and she has like held a grudge and doesn't like him. And then they are forced to lead the same team, and she thinks that he is trying to sabotage it. So we have a bit of enemies to lovers. I loved this. Maybe I have not been reading the right kinds of romance, because maybe I just needed like a nerdy little science romance to tickle the right spots in my brain and make me like romance. There are so many references to Marie Curie in this book. It's crazy, honestly. So I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I loved the science aspects. I did like their relationship. This book made me happy to read. I enjoyed it. I read it pretty quickly. I think it was a good book. In my opinion, again, good book to me is just purely based on the vibes. This had good vibes. I will say the steamy scenes, there is a couple, so for that reason we're gonna give it 4 peppers, 4 on the spice scale, because there's multiple graphically explained scenes, and they gave me the ick. They were very cringy. Also, does Hazelwood have something for like very large men? Because he's described as like being a massive like wall of a man. I feel like that's what she did in Bride too. That's the only point of reference I have. But 4 stars, 4 spice. It was good. I like science. So for that reason, we are going to read another science romance, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we're going to read The Love Hypothesis. I also have that out from the library. Convenient, right? I have to confess that I did not film a single thing about reading The Love Hypothesis. And the reason for that is, if you follow me on social media, I feel like I might have shared in another video here, but my dog passed away, and she happened to pass away between reading these 2 books, which was devastating. It has been really hard. I cry about it almost every day, but I'm not going to right now. It's been really hard because she was my baby girl, and I've had her for a decade, and we've been through so much together. I did keep going with this video. I'm continuing it. We are still reading 5 romances. I really wanted a distraction, and I wanted something to keep my mind busy and not think about how sad I was. So I read The Love Hypothesis, and I have to be honest, guys, I know that I'm giving it 4 stars. I know that I rated it a 4 out of 5 spicy peppers, but I don't remember much about this book. I think because I was just like so traumatized when I was reading it. I just wanted to escape. I was looking for escapism. That's why this video is continuing and I'm not just scrapping it, is because I need a distraction. I need something to keep my mind busy. So that's what we're doing. But in reading this book, I read it super quickly in like one day, and I know that I liked it. I know that we had fake dating, and I know that I don't remember a word that I read. I cannot tell you her name, his name, nothing. And I think that's 100% just from like the trauma of everything and me being like, I need to do something, I need to stay busy, I'm gonna read this book even though like I'm not mentally well, not doing too great. And that is the side effect of that. I know that it was fake dating. That I know for sure. I remember that they were working in a biochem lab. I know that she is a student and he's a professor, but don't worry, he's not her professor. I will say this still gave me the ick because it feels like he is in a position of power, even though they say in the book like, oh no, he's not her thesis advisor, just her friends. It still gave me a weird power dynamic that I didn't enjoy. It felt wrong. It felt wrong. He was very moody and like everyone hates him because they say that he's like very cruel to the students and stuff. Nobody likes him, but he doesn't realize that. That's the vibe anyway. And she is a student. I will say the one thing that I do remember, it stands out in my brain, is that I feel like maybe one, if not both, of the characters are like on the asexuality spectrum, which is part of the LGBTQ plus community. It's a scale. Some people don't experience any sexual attraction, and some people need to have strong feelings for a person, be in a romantic relationship with them in order to have sexual feelings for someone, so it says have like a sexual desire for them, and she falls into the latter category, I think, which I mean is interesting. You don't read, especially if you like in a romance book, many people on the asexuality spectrum. I mean, it was only implied, it was never said, and then he was kind of similar, so I did think that was interesting. Also, I remember at the time giving it a 4 spice, but could it have been a 3? I don't know. We're sticking with the 4 because I don't remember. I am shocked at how little I remember of this book. Like, honestly, it's shocking. So let's just keep moving forward. I actually vlog and give you normal chatty updates reading the other 3 books, I promise. I have been reading like crazy, and somehow I'm still only 65% done reading Wildfire. For a book that is so fluffy and has like, feels like 0 plot, how is it this long? So I'm currently running a bath, if you can hear that in the background. I have not had a reading bath in forever, but I'm going to because I just need to decompress, and my goal is just to finish this book. That's all I want to do right now. Fresh out of the bath, and I finished Wildfire. Did I ever even say what it is? I got it out from the library. I had been waiting for it for a long time. It is a sequel, or in the same series as Icebreaker, that uber popular hockey book, hockey romance, with the hockey boy and the figure skater eunuch. So I had never read that, and I just jumped right into book 2. It's about one of his teammates. It's about another one of the hockey players, and the hockey player goes to work at a summer camp. There's this girl, there's romance, all of that. It's fluffy. There's not a ton of plot besides them being at a camp together, crushing on each other, not being allowed to hook up because it's one of the camp's rules, and some family trauma and drama on both of their parts. So for all of that, it's very long. I don't know how long it is, but it took me so long to read, and I was not expecting that because it's so light and fluffy and not a lot is going on. So I really thought that it would be a quick read, and it was not. And not much happened. I don't get why this book is this long. But even with that, I kind of want to give it 4 stars, which is shocking. But I really enjoyed it. If it was shorter, I would have absolutely loved it. I think a big part for me of liking a book is the relatability. compatibility. And as someone who has strained family relationships, I related a lot. Very much mirrors something in my life. It brought me to tears a few times, and I actually highlighted some quotes in it, which I don't typically do in books, but they really like stuck with me, and I was like, wow, that's really moving. Just because I saw so much of myself in it, and the advice she was getting felt like it was applicable to me, and I really enjoyed it. I liked their romance. I thought that they were very cute together. She was a very out there, adventurous, troublemaking girl, and he's very quiet and shy, even though he's like this 6'5" hockey player, built like a god, of course. I feel like they are in every single romance book. None of these 3 books have had a man under 6'3", definitely. I think all of these characters are very tall, but I enjoyed it, and for that I think we're gonna give it 4 stars purely off the vibes. And I mean, the fact that it brought me to tears is pretty major. I just came up with a spice scale so that I could share how spicy I think books are, and I'm going to say that this is a 4 pepper book. There is sex from the get-go, and a good amount of it, very descriptive. It's not crazy, like crazy out there spice. I'm giving it a 4 just for how much of it there is. It might actually be more of like a 3.5. I don't give halves though, so we're gonna give it a 4. We're gonna give it a 4. Also, quick mental health check-in. I'm not doing well, as you can tell. If you don't follow me, you might not know why I look like this. But I have a hair pulling disorder. It's called trichotillomania. I also have a skin picking disorder. So I feel like I have been doing a bit of picking to my skin, but mostly pulling of my hair. I have no eyelashes almost at all, and the eyebrows are pretty sparse. So my pulling is really bad right now. So I'm not doing too good with that. It ebbs, it flows. I'm having a hard time with life, obviously, so it kind of manifests with a lot of pulling. So if any of you pull out your hair, know that I understand your pain, and it's embarrassing. I'm kind of shocked that I'm showing my face with no makeup, but here we are, trying to own, trying to be a little more confident in the way that I look and the state of me. So there's that. Next, I do still have a few books from the library that I want to try to read, but I don't have much time with them. So let's see what's left and what I still have to read. Okay, I'm thinking that I might go for Magnolia Parks. Would we consider that a romance? I'm pretty sure it is. So I have Magnolia Parks, the first one, that's by Jessa Hastings, or I have Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I had so many Tessa Bailey books out, and I have not read a single one of them. I mean, obviously a bit of a wrench was thrown in my reading romance plans, so I have not read all of the things that I thought I would. I had a lot more options, but they all expired. They get immediately sent back from my e-reader after 14 days, and I procrastinated too hard, and then Lily. So I think I'm gonna go with those 2 options, Magnolia Parks, but it's due in 2 days, and can I read that in 2 days? I feel like it's really long. Elsie and I are sitting here reading Magnolia Parks. I've heard about it a lot. I've heard a lot of people say that they love it. Also, let's change this angle. So I've heard a lot of people talk about this book and talk about how much they love it. And I know people highly anticipate like all the books in the series. I have to say though, every time I hear someone say Daisy hates, it drives me crazy. I absolutely hate that name. I don't know why. Although I will say Magnolia Parks is not much better. That's just a person's name. Gives me the ick. So far it is giving me Gossip Girl if they're adults and grown up now vibes. But I just have a feeling that there's this rift in their relationship. BJ, another horrible name, and Magnolia. I feel like the reason that they're not together, even though both of their sides are telling us that they love each other so much, is because of a cheating incident. And anytime that happens in a book, it is immediately a bad book in my opinion. I don't like cheating tropes. And I have a feeling that is what's going to happen here, so we're going to see what happens. I'm 6% in. We'll see if I can finish this quickly. I mean, I don't have very long to do that. The other thing that I'm not enjoying about the book so far is when they talk to you. I don't like in any book being acknowledged, like breaking the fourth wall. I don't know if that's the same thing in like books as it is in film and television, but you know when the character looks at the camera and talks to you and like breaks the fourth wall. I don't like that in books either. I don't want them talking to me directly. It's weird. It gives me weird feelings. So that keeps happening. Weird. Let's read some Magnolia Parks. Okay. So I'm 26% into this and it just seems like a toxic dumpster fire. I don't know if I'm gonna like this book as much as I have enjoyed the other 3 romances I've read in this video. I really don't know. But in other news, I just got a notification that Book Lovers by Emily Henry is available from the library for me. So that is gonna be our 5th book. So we got 5 really popular books, but I don't know. Also, I just learned that this cover, which looks like this in color, is the new cover. I would have assumed that that was the old cover because to me it looks very Gossip Girl, very 2000s to 2010 book cover vibe. And the original covers, which are these covers, I think are so beautiful and so unique and unlike any other cover I've seen before, and I love them. So I assumed that those were the new covers. When I heard people talking about wanting to go out and buy the new covers, I assumed this is what they meant, not this. So I'm honestly pretty shocked that they would make a cover change like this. I get that maybe this cover screams more traditional romance novel. It doesn't happen very often, but living in a harbor city, in a port city, it's rodents, you can't help it. And I'm very concerned that she has a mouse. Oh no. I'm gonna do something that I honestly probably don't do enough. And that is I'm gonna DNF a book. I am not going to finish Magnolia Parks.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it. Not enough to read it.
You always finish the book.
I always finish the book. I do. I have such trouble not finishing a book. It gives me like FOMO, but then also, this is just weird, but I feel like if I don't finish it and I've wasted all of this time. Oh, wasp at the window. It's trying to get in.
Outside.
It's trying to get in though. What if there's a hole?
There's no hole
He's
in the
really
window.
trying to get
It's
in.
glass.
If I've devoted a lot of time to reading part of a book, it feels like a waste if I can't count it towards my books finished in a year. You feel like I just wasted a bunch of time. But I do see that finishing it just for the sake of finishing it is wasting even more of my time. And even though Magnolia Parks is a super, super popular romance book, I can't do it. One, this is a bit of a spoiler, but I feel like I need to tell it to you so that you understand why I'm not reading this book and why I don't like it. He cheats on her. He cheated on her in the past and they've had this weird relationship ever since. Magnolia and BJ are like each other's one true love, first love thing. He cheated on her. She cannot forgive him for it, but they still have this weird way of dancing around each other all this time. And like years later, I feel like this is like their romance story. And I don't like a cheating trope in a book. Never have, never will. And it gave me an immediate ick. I don't care to read Gossip Girl for adults. And also, if I have to hear one more outfit explained in extremely like bougie detail about who the designer is and what collection it's from, I might scream because I do not care. So I just feel like the worst thing a book can do is make me not care. And I don't care about the characters. I don't care about the plot. I don't care about the romance. I just don't care. So I'm gonna DNF, and I can almost guarantee you I will never read another book in this series. I'm not gonna, no. So there's that, DNF. It is time to start the 5th and final book in this Reading Romances video. And we are going to go out with a bang, with a hit, with an Emily Henry book. We're reading Book Lovers. I got this out from the library too. All of these are out from my local library. If you have a Kobo in Canada, you can hook up Overdrive with your local library card, and it takes a while to get popular books out, but it's worth it, especially if it's a book that you don't care. Especially if it's a book that you don't care about having a physical copy of. I mean, it's a great option. So Book lovers, Emily Henry, hugely popular. Oh my goodness, I've never read an Emily Henry book. I'm losing my Emily Henry virginity today. It has been rated 1.1 million times on Goodreads, and it has a 4.14 rating. That's very high. Also, I want to note that almost a year ago, today's June 26th, on June 28th of 2023, I marked this book on Goodreads as a want to read. So it's exciting that I'm finally getting to it 1 year later. I don't know anything about this book. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it says one summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. So I assume that we're gonna get a little bit of an enemies to lovers romance here. I've never read anything by Emily Henry. I have no clue at all what her books are like. I can see that she's written books People Would Meet on Vacation, Funny Story, and Beach Read, and Happy Place. All hugely, hugely popular. So we'll see if I like them. Here we go. I will say, I thought that reading fluffy little romances would be so quick and so easy. I mean, we did that video pounding out 5 thrillers in 5 days. I was anticipating this. I thought, didn't expect my doggy to die in the middle of this video, but I really honestly thought that I would be able to read 5 books in 5 days. And it's not that I don't have the reading time, it's that these books are taking me way longer to read than I ever anticipated they would. Romances, in my opinion, are a little too long. Say that about, I think, every one I've read in this video. A little too long. I feel like you could be a little more to the point, a little more concise. They feel a little rambly, especially for books where I feel like there's not a ton of plot. I get that the romance is the plot, but the driving force of the story is just their romance. And especially when they get together like pretty soon in the book. I think that my big other thing with romance and why it takes me so long to read them is there's not much suspense. You know that this is a romance book. You know that they are going to fall in love. 9 times out of 10, that's how this book is going to end, that they're happily ever after. So I don't get the suspense that I do in a thriller. I don't get the adventure that I get from a fantasy. So I don't know if I am a converted romance girly yet. I did enjoy some of these books. I don't know. I will say though that they take a lot longer for me to read than I thought they would. Please let me know down below, do you read romances really fast? If you're someone that really enjoys them, that loves them, that devours this kind of book, do you read them really quickly? And is it just that I'm not into them and that's why I read them so slow? Because I feel like I can devour, not a fantasy, they're always so long, but I can devour a thriller in a day, easy peasy. Easy peasy. The adventure, the thrill, the trying to figure out who did it, who done it, the mystery keeps me guessing, keeps me on my toes, keeps me engrossed and wanting to read. And I don't think that's happening with these books. Even though I'm enjoying them, I'm liking them objectively. There's things I'm loving about them, there's things I'm not loving about them, but I'm just not getting sucked into the world, if you know what I mean. I feel like Funny Place, it's definitely not what it's called, Book Lovers, has so much potential. I will say 20% in and there's already a reference to Prince Edward Island, which is where I'm from, which is always funny. And 2, she talks about how she's been a vegetarian for a decade and that tempeh can taste like bacon, especially when you don't really remember what meat tastes like. I 100% agree as someone who's been a vegetarian for almost a decade. But it's really good. I'm really into it. It's written very well. I'd say the writing is much better than the other books that I've read in this video. So that's a plus. Guys, she just said, is there anything better than iced coffee and a bookstore on a sunny day? And now I wish that I was sipping iced coffee in a bookstore on a sunny day. Instead, I am laying in bed with my children nap reading on my ebook with no coffee in sight, but I did eat some chips and eat icing straight out of the container, and it's raining. Have I shown you my stickers? Have you looked at all these? Cute, right? Also, I did my nails. They're like press-on nails. I never have long nails, but look at how cute they look when I'm reading. These were described as short on the package. I don't think I would call them short personally. But they're cute. They're Glamnetics. I got them at Winners for super cheap, like $12 for the package. And online they're like 20 to 25 depending on the design, plus like shipping and stuff. So I thought I've been wanting to give them a try. I've been eyeing the website. I've just been waiting to order. And then I found these at Winners and said, oh my god, Winners is like TJ Maxx for all you guys in the States. I love them. They're so fun. Let's see how they hold up. It's day one, but I'm like gonna be parenting in them, so I'm scared that they're gonna like rip my nail off or something. Just because I'm not used to having long nails. Now I just want to buy a bookstore. There's a very cozy sounding bookstore in this book. I don't know. Is she gonna end up buying this bookstore and living her happily ever after in a small town with her academic rival? If this is a Hallmark movie, that would be my guess. Now I want to own a bookstore, and I was just looking, there's only 2 for sale in Canada. I worry about buying their existing inventory because that's like included in the cost of buying these bookstores, because what if they have shit books? I don't know. I want to have a bookstore. It's like my dream. Write books, do a booktube, and own a bookstore. Wow, could you imagine? Triple threat. Amazing. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is fine. It's done. Oh my goodness. So I laid in bed this morning. Allie took the kids downstairs and I finished Book Lovers, and I feel like I'm an ASMR person. Book Lovers. I loved this too. I ended up giving it 5 stars. So this is a romance novel, obviously. This is my first ever Emily Henry book, and Emily Henry is such a popular author in general right now, but I would say she's one of the most popular romance writers that there is right now. So Book Lovers follows Nora, who is a literary agent based out of New York City. She has this rival, this work rival, Charlie, and he is a editor. In the very beginning of the book, she pitches a book from one of her clients to Charlie. He says no, it's not a book he'd ever work on. She gets really offended and has hated him ever since. I don't think she liked him at that point to begin with. He's known for being a grumpy, storm cloud kind of person. Turns out that the book goes on to be a bestseller. The book is based in a very small town called Sunshine Falls. Nora's sister, Libby, loves the book so much. She loves romance novels. Libby says, let's go on a trip to Sunshine Falls for a month before my baby's born and just get to reconnect. Of course, her rival Charlie ends up being there. Turns out it's where he's from. And romance ensues. There's a lot of family drama, family dynamics. I will say it is the best written romance I think I've ever read. I was so impressed with the depth that she gave these characters. It was so easy to understand everyone's motives and where they were coming from because they just were such complex characters and all had so much depth. I was in awe of her writing. It was witty, it was funny. It literally had me laughing at points. The romance was like perfectly built up in my opinion, and it made me wish that I owned a bookstore. So for all of these reasons, 5 stars. Oh my goodness, this was great. I would definitely read another Emily Henry book again. I don't know if reading all of these books and enjoying 4 of them made me a romance girly though. I definitely still prefer my fantasy and my thrillers and even my parenting books to romance. It did show me a bit of why people are so into the genre, and I will say I should have read just a straight up hockey romance because I don't think Wildfire was really a hockey romance. Sure, he was a hockey player and we get some of the team dynamics when he's with his friends, but it's mostly a camp romance. Summer camp romance. Camp counselor romance. But I will say I had fun with this video. I feel like I would have had more fun if all of those books were gay. I was gonna say Make America Gay again. I don't know why. I was gonna say that. That's a weird thing to say. I think there should be just more gay books out there, more lesbian books, which is why we are going to be reading a bunch of lesbian books in the coming videos, which I just keep saying and not giving. I promise they're coming. They're all on my bookshelf. I have them all lined up, and then things just keep happening. Okay, so my book buddies, I am going to leave this video here. Please tell me down below what your favorite romance novel is. What do you think is the I was gonna say, what do you think is the best? But your favorite and the best might not be the same thing. So leave either, or if it fits both criteria. Let me know what one's your favorite. I will say out of the 5 that I read in this video, Book Lovers was definitely my favorite. Love on the Brain might have been my second favorite because I love brain science stuff, and honestly, looking back on it, I feel like Wildfire might actually be a 3-star read. We'll leave it as a 4. If you follow me on Goodreads, you'll see that lately I've been changing some book ratings here and there because I tell you one rating and I feel like I can stand behind it, but then the longer the book is marinating in my head, it either seems better or worse. So some ratings have been changing. Thank you for watching. This was fun. It was very fun to get out of my comfort zone and read some different books that I wouldn't typically pick up. So there's that. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another video.